Salve discipoli. We are doing a video right now about all of the stuff that you need for exercise 15b. So most likely, unless I told you otherwise, you'll be watching this video and then doing the exercise in class with me. So, or at least with me around or something like that. So, this video includes four things: the ablative case, which is a noun thing; the imperfect tense, which is a verb thing; adverbs, that's an adverb thing; and then neuter nouns, a noun thing. So we're kind of jumping all over nouns, adverbs, and verbs. The only thing we're kind of missing is adjectives. Woo! So we're going to start with the ablative, and we want to talk about what the heck it is first. So ablative is a type of noun that includes prepositional phrases. That sounds weird. But this case is the one that does not appear in German because it kind of picks everything up that the other four cases don't get. So we have things in English like in the room, under the tree, with a stick. What else? I'm trying to think of what you know in Latin. That'll be fine for now. Or with a friend. Believe it or not, the with a stick and with a friend are different depending on your sentence. So that's what an ablative is. You're going to use a noun to sort of understand an entire phrase. Okay, so we need to talk about endings now. Endings, you may have a few different types of endings because we have first declension, second declension, and third declension nouns. Since there are different types of nouns, there have to be different ablative endings, unfortunately. So you're going to be looking out for an A ending, an O ending, and an E ending in the singular. Once you go to plural, most of these include multiple letter endings. So also you'll be looking out for an IS ending and the ibus. At least ibus is easy to pick out. So these are the 5 ablative endings. Now remember that the last 2, is is plural, and so is ibus. Okay, so if they're plural, you have to make that noun plural. So if I have sub arboribus as opposed to sub arbore, let's put that one here. Sub arbore, that E ending on arbore here, that is an ablative ending. We see it up here in my list. Boom. So under the tree. And then we can make it plural, but we don't change the preposition. That stays the same. But we are going to change the ending from an E ending to an ibus. Okay. And that will change the translation just a little bit, under the trees instead of under the tree. Okay, just a quick example of what that's going to look like. Now, your translation can include many, many different things. Sometimes you'll have a word like in means in. Go figure. Or on. Let's put that. Sub means under. X, out of. So it depends on what preposition is with your ablative. Now, sometimes you won't have a preposition with the ablative. So in that case, you might have a translation of in, which is confusing, by, or with. Okay. Now let's go back here. I want to add another preposition. If you see the preposition cum, no giggles. You're going to translate that as with. Okay. And I'm going to switch this. This is me editing in the middle of the video. Okay. So let's look at something that might be slightly more helpful. Okay, so we're looking at a chart of the different kinds of ablative. You can also find this on page 90 of your textbook, of book 1, to be more specific. So we have ablative of time when, okay, right here that tells when something's happening. Time within which, how long is something happening? So this one's going to be translated as for. So let's go back to the notes. Let's add that. It could be for as well. And the place where. So this is where it's happening. You have the preposition in, and that you also have sub, which this chart didn't include, but it's giving you the basics here. Place from which, you know that because you know the preposition ex. Okay, these are just fancy names for little bitty phrases in Latin. Don't get hung up on the names so much as identifying your ablative. If there is a preposition, that's really helpful in identifying the ablative. So let's put some steps here. Okay, find, or let's say look for. It might not always be there. So you find something that's not there. That's not good. Look for a preposition. Then you want to let's see if no. Okay, good enough. Look for a preposition and find the ablative. Now, I put find here because if you have an ablative phrase, there's going to be an ablative. That doesn't mean there's going to be a preposition, but there will be an ablative. Okay, so find the ablative, determine the number. So the number in grammar, if you remember, is singular or plural. Okay, that's going to help you with your translation, just like up here when we said under the tree versus under the trees. Arbore, arboribus. Big difference. Okay, determine what the word means. Meaning of all the words. So you're probably looking for a meaning of the preposition if there is one, and a meaning of the ablative. Okay, put it all together and boom, you have your ablative translation. We are moving on to the second part, the imperfects. Imperfect verbs, but we're going to say tense because, oh, no M included. Okay. Imperfect tense is, it's not happening right now because that would be present. Imperfect tense is a continuous past. So in English, this is going to look like was. Was, whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whatever. So was walking, was running, was seeing, was eating, was standing. So I call it continuous past because it's something that was happening over a period of time in the past. So at one point it was continuous, but it probably isn't anymore. However, we really don't have that information. So it could still be happening, but we know that it was happening continuously at one point. So I was eating chips a minute ago. That doesn't tell me whether I am still or not. Okay, so that's the ambiguous part of it. So let's use ambiguous, that's a fun word. Part of this tense is that you don't know. You don't know if the action is done or not. And that's okay. We don't need to know in the sentence. If we're using the imperfect, we don't need to know. We just need to know that it started in the past and went on for some time. Okay, so what does it look like? In Latin, this is kind of an easy one to pick out. You're going to see an ending, well, a little thing in the middle of the word, a ba. Okay, if ba shows up in the middle of your word, you want to translate it as was. Okay, ba equals was equals ba. So depending on whether you're going Latin to English or English to Latin, you should keep that in mind. Ba means was. So let's look at some forms or some endings. Endings. We've got bomb. I was. Okay, the M here tells me the I part. The ba tells me was, just like my last line said. How about boss? You were. Sorry. We did switch in English. It switched from was to were. Let's put that up. Was or were, depending on who's doing your action. The S tells me you, the ba tells me were. Bat, he, she, or it was. Now, the he, she, or it comes from the T, and the ba gives us was. Okay. How about vamos? We were. Batis. Not Bates. Y'all were. Okay, so again, we're getting the y'all from the tis, the were from the ba. And then the last one, bont. Not bang. They were. Okay, so NT tells me they, ba tells me were. If you see any of these endings, just put these little phrases, I was, you were, he, she, it was, in front of your verb. So let's give some examples. And we need our little Latin abbreviation for examples, exempli gratias. So let's think of a word. Let's do sedebam. I was sitting. Let's make it fancy. Sedebam. Not sidebar. How do you get sidebar? Sedebam. No, I don't want that. Thank you. Sub arbore. Okay, this is something I was doing. I was sitting under the tree. There you go. So now we connected the imperfects to the ablatives. I have a lovely little image. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm going to let you sort of explore it. It is on Moodle. But Glogster is a very fun thing, but I don't want to have to grade them, so that's why you don't do them for me. But this is a lovely imperfect tense in Latin, Glogster. So glog, what do you call it? I don't know, because I don't use Glogster, but it's like a digital poster. So we have, let's see, we have rules for conjugating in the imperfect. Here are really nicely laid out steps for conjugating. This is the basic stuff. This is the more detailed stuff. Now this is a little reminder. I just love this thing. And down here, yeah, you know, I say that stuff all the time. Okay, we are only halfway through. Okay, back to this. We're going to the adverbs. This will take us like 30 seconds. Adverbs. I put a sad face. Yes, because you just need to know. Let's start in a second. These are going to describe verbs. Okay. Couple examples. There's my Latin abbreviation again. Happily. Why can't I think of any adverbs right now? Quickly. Whew. That's tough. And then you have weird ones like now. Yesterday. What else? Meanwhile. Okay. Ones that don't really look like adverbs in English because they don't have an ly, but they definitely are adverbs. So this is the sucky part about adverbs. You need to know every adverb and adverbs and meaning. I can't just tell you a rule and you know how to translate it. Okay, so let's give you some more examples, including the Latin. So laete. Laete is happily. But celeriter is quickly. Yesterday's goofy. Yesterday's hairy. Oh, not hero. Yesterday. Meanwhile, inter du. No, let's not do that. Let's do yam is now. No. No. Okay, that took more than 30 seconds. Crap. Okay, what's next? Oh no, neuter nouns. I have 10 seconds. Go to page 114 and enjoy.